And good morning, boys and girls. We are looking at Lesson 10, Session 2. Grab a pencil and open your books up to page 213. We are continuing looking at our dividing fractions. So let's read the problem first and then get to work. Imani is planning her city's Juneteenth festival. There will be 3.5 hours of performances on the main stage. Each performer's time slot lasts 3/4 of an hour. How many time slots can Imani plan to have? I want you to stop the video and think about, I have a total of 3.5 hours, and I want to see how many 3/4 I can put into that. Stop and then come back. There are several ways you could have done this. I think because it's time, the first way that I did it was I thought, okay, I have 3.5 hours. 1, 2, these are my clocks. 3, and I have a half an hour. So this I do not have. So then how many 3/4 can I have? So if I did 3/4, 1, 2, 3. 3/4, 1, 2, 3. 3/4, 1, 2, 3. So right now I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, but I could put these together. So I have 4 3/4. And then over here on my half hour, do I have enough for 3/4? No, I don't. If there was 3/4, I have 2 of the 3 I need, but I don't have enough for another 3/4 or 45 minutes of an hour. So my answer would have been 4. I have 4. I can do 4 time slots of 3/4, but I also have a remainder. So let's take a look at another way you could have done it. You could have done it on a number line, and I went ahead and drew my line, and let's say this is my 3.5 hours, and I want to see how many 3/4 I can get to go to that spot. So here's 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 2 out of my 3 that I would need to make another whole part. So my answer is actually 4 2/3. I have 2 out of the 3 that I need. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Another way, remember, if we went back to the keep, change, flip, I'm going to let you erase this part so I can write on it. Let's see if I can get enough room to write. Keep, change, flip. I always use it to check my answer. It's a good strategy to use, especially when you're looking at models. So let's try keep, change, flip. I have 3.5, 3.5 divided by 3/4. First thing I'm going to do is change 3.5 into an improper fraction. 2 times 3 plus 1, 7/2. Keep, change, and flip, or the reciprocal. Now I just multiply across. 7 times 4 equals 28. 2 times 3 is 6. 28 divided by 6. Well, 6 times 4 is 24. So 28 divided by 6 is going to be 4, 24, and 4, 6. 4 and 4, 6. Simplify that. I get 4 2/3. Keep, change, flip. You're going to hear that a lot. Let's go ahead and look at the next page. Kind of quickly go through this one. So the different models that they could have used. You could have used the relationship between multiplication and division. So basically, how many times 3/4 equal 3.5, or 3.5 divided by 3/4. And then also the bar model, which is kind of the way that I did it with just a model. Of course, I used a clock, which was round instead of the bar. Or you could have also done a common denominator. If I had a common denominator, I could have changed 7/2 to 14/4 and divided across. That only works if you have a common denominator. So let's go ahead and look at the next page. Number 1, look at the model it. How many full 3/4 time slots does Imani have for the performance? How does the second bar model show this? So we know these answers 4. I have to look back at the second bar model. Okay, how does it show this? It shows it by breaking up each section into fourths and grouping them into 3/4. Let me see if I can find an easier way to say that. So it has 4 3/4 slots. The bar model shows you 4 groups. So 4 groups of 3/4. Number 2, the second bar model shows one group that has only 2 parts of a size 1/4. Explain why this group is 2/3 of a time slot. That's probably the hardest thing to understand, why we end up with 2/3 and not 2/4, because I broke these into fourths. Well, when you looked at the model and we get to the very end, here's my last model, and I had 2 of these, but how many did I need to make my whole group? I needed 3. So I had 2 out of the 3 that I needed. Because you need to fill a time slot with 2 out of 3 parts. 2 out of 3 parts. Okay, look at analyze it. And the second model, how does the bar model show that you can use the quotient 14 divided by 3 to find the quotient 14/4 divided by 3/4? So let's go ahead and look at that one. The second bar model shows 14 parts of size 1/4 separated into 3 parts, groups of 3 parts. To find out how many groups there are, you divide 14 by 3. So 14 parts with a size 1/4 into groups of 3, because we need 3/4. Again, if I have the common denominator, I can divide across. Number 4, when you divide 14 by 3, the result is 4 with a remainder of 2. When you divide 14/4 by 3/4, the remainder is 2/4. Where do you see the remainder in the bar model? What fraction of the divisor, 3/4, does this remainder represent? So the remainder is the last group that shows only 2 parts of the 1/4 size. I don't know if I can go back to that. So the remainder right here, I have 2 out of the 3 that I would need for another whole group. That's why we get 2/3. So number 4, the remainder is the last group. Remainder is the last group. And it shows 2 parts. And shows 2 parts of the 3 that I need. You can stop that and copy that down. Number 5, how many times does 3/4 fit into 3 1/2? Use multiplication to check your answer. So we already said the answer was 4 2/3. So we're going to use multiplication. So I'm going to do 4 2/3 times 3/4. Again, I'm going to change this to an improper fraction, which gives me 12, 13, 14. 14/3 times 3/4. So that would be 14/4. And I knew that because I know a little trick there. If I have the same number, I can go ahead and just get rid of it, which is equal to 7/2, which is equal to 3.5. You can copy that down. And we are going to skip over the reflected. I wonder which model helps you the most. Is it the keep, change, flip, or is it the picture? And we'll talk about that in class. Let's go ahead and finish up with the apply it. I'll read the problem. Mr. Lincoln is making slime for his kindergarten class. He has 3 cups of glue. Each batch of slime uses 2/3 cups of glue. How many batches of slime can Mr. Lincoln make? Show your work. So he has 3, and he wants to divide them into groups of 2/3. So how many 2/3 go into 3? Stop the video and see if you can come up with the answer. Okay, you could have done a picture. I think this one's kind of easy because we have 3 cups. These represent my cups. And I want to have groups of 2/3. So I'm going to cut each of one of these into thirds. This is my 1 cup, my 2nd cup. Each of these are cut into thirds. Now, how many groups of 2/3 can I get? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1 left over, 1 out of the half that I need. So I have 4 1/2. If you had done keep, change, flip, let me erase, and I'm going to do it that way also. You should still end up with 4 1/2. So I had 3 over 1 divided by 2/3. So keep, change, flip. Multiply across, 9/2 equal to 4 1/2. I really don't care which way you do this. I do it a lot of times just to check my answers. Let's go ahead and look at number 8. Sophia has pitchers that each hold 1 2/5 liters. She has 4 1/5 liter of iced tea. Which division expression can you use to find the number of pitchers Sophia can fill with iced tea? Is it 1 2/5 divided by 4 1/5, or is it 4 1/5 divided by 1 2/5? Why don't you stop, circle the answer, and then come back and see if you got the right answer. You should have gotten the 4 1/5 divided by 2/5 because this is the amount she has, and she wants to divide them into those groups of 1 2/5. So she can fill 3 pitchers. 3 pitchers. Because 1 2/5 goes into 4 1/5 3 times. The last question. What is 2 3/4 divided by 3/8? Stop the video and see if you can solve this on your own. I'm going to go ahead and just use the keep, change, flip. So 2 3/4, first I need to turn that into an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's the same as 11/4 divided by 3/8. So I'm going to keep, change, flip, multiply across, and I get 88/12. So now I need to think, How many times does 12 go into 88? Let's see if I did 88 divided by 12. I'm going to start out with 7. That's 1484. So I have 7 and 4/12. Can I simplify 4/12? Yeah, they're both divisible by 4, so that's the same as 4 and 7, and 1/3. 7 and 1/3 was your answer. Okay, you guys are going to go ahead and finish the next 2 pages for homework, page 217 and 218, and make sure you get it done and bring it to class.